Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Today we are going to discuss regarding the concrete, solid and hollow block masonry. Now as we are aware that the masonry or the construction carried out with the various types of blocks which are used. Generally we are aware of the brick masonry, the bricks which are you can say manufactured by using the soil. So those bricks we are mostly aware. Now again we can use stone masonry as well. By using the stone masonry is also possible. But nowadays now there are many innovations are there where the various types of masonry can be possible because of this available materials. Now as our topic of today's discussion is concrete, solid and hollow block masonry. So when you are visiting any apartment or any residential bungalow which is under construction with the RCC material, so where you can find out this RCC blocks, concrete blocks, or also hollow block masonry is also possible. Now when you are discussing regarding the strength, or when you expect the more strength, so in such cases you can use the solid concrete blocks. But in cases of when the non load bearing walls, or where you don't expect much strength, you can say, or you are expecting the low weight, so in such cases the hollow block masonries are also used. Now again in coming sessions also we are going to study regarding the lightweight blocks are also available, which are called as a Siporex. Also some part also we can today, or we can also discuss regarding the fly ash based blocks are also there. So such many things are innovated, and which are now in the application in construction industry. So what is concrete hollow blocks? That just I have already described. A concrete masonry unit, CMU, please remember this abbreviation, also called concrete block, cement block and foundation block as well, is a large rectangular brick used in the construction. Concrete blocks are made from cast concrete, example Portland cement and aggregate, usually sand and fine gravel. For high density blocks, lower density blocks may be used for the industrial waste as a aggregate, or these are called as a slag as you can say. The masonry that we can say, what is a masonry, that also we have seen various types of masonries are there. Any building material made of stones or walls or any blocks you can say. Generally we are discussing regarding the walls whenever we are discussing regarding the masonry, right? Now especially when the masonry is there, then there are two types of masonry. One is a structured or load bearing, where the load is there on the masonry. This is used for the exterior walls, right? And second is a non-structured or non-load bearing walls are there. This is used for the interior walls. If you see this particular a brick block is there, hollow block is there. So you can see what are the various parts of this particular unit: core, structure or the face of that shell, header or wave. Okay, so these hollow places are placed here, you can see. So the inner this particular part is called as a wave. This is core which is available. The exterior part is called as a shell. Length and height, width, it is observed, you can observe here, right? Now again if you see the arrangement of the masonry unit, these are the various elevations. Those are possible by providing these particular bricks in the typical fashions. In the brick masonry we have studied regarding the various types of bonds, right? So the arrangement of the bricks by which you are providing the strength and the elevation or the other expected parameters there. So that depends upon the choice and design, you can say. So in that the various elevations can be obtained by the various methods. These are some have been shown here for only to show you that running method, common or American method is there. So by a typical pattern, one is of a header, few courses of stretcher, header, Flemish and English bond you can aware of. A stack system is there, not is generally used, but as the joints are continued here. Some with modification English or cross or Dutch bond, that also pattern can be used. Now again, if you study in detail regarding the two types of loading bearing blocks are there. Type N block rated N are rated for the use of exterior walls both above or below grade, you can say. Type S concrete blocks rated S are not rated for moisture penetration and they are used instead as a interior walls and as above the grade exterior walls with weather protective coating, remember. Concrete hollow blocks. Now we will see the regarding the that also we are aware of the concrete hollow blocks. So you can see this particular just we have seen the terminology which is associated with this. Okay, this is wave, this is shell, right? This is length, bed, right? So hollow block, hollow load bearing concrete blocks, load bearing concrete hollow block are the block that can or intended to carry load aside from its own weight, easier handling and facility for conducting or steel reinforcement through the hollows. Now solid load bearing concrete block. So you can see this total concrete brick, it is a solid brick. So solid masonry without steel reinforcement tends to have a very limited application in the modern wall constructions. Such wall can however be quite economical and suitable in some application. Solid unreinforced masonry walls uh, tend to be low and thick as consequence of their lack of tensile strength. But now most of the in the apartments and the assist structures are used now, right? Hollow non-load bearing concrete blocks. Okay, you can see these various configurations of this. Non-load bearing concrete hollow blocks are used for the fences, wall partitions or divider, and this is not intended to carry the any load. Now also nowadays the concrete building tiles are also available, that you can see, we can say pavers are also. So concrete tiles are made from the sand, water, cement and pigments and are not fired like the clay tiles but curved at the cured at the temperatures of approximately 60 degrees Celsius. The curing process makes them sturdy enough to be transported and laid within a few days of manufacture, and they get stronger over the time. Okay, that is the property of the concrete. With the age, concrete becomes strong. Concrete bricks that we have seen, the concrete brick is made of a solid concrete. These bricks are used to cover facade of any home, that is exterior part, you can say, building fences and enhance the overall beauty of home's exterior. Concrete bricks are quickly becoming popular alternative to other home facade materials. Now let's have the glance on the other type of concrete hollow blocks. These are actually not for your curriculum, but now hereafter also our all the lectures will be intended not only from the curriculum point of view, but little bit will have the additional information as well, because now hereafter we will have to also proceed towards a professional examinations as well, competitive examinations, and for that we must know the additional some part of that which is associated with such topics. Now examination like MPSC, UPSC, GATE examination, so in such examination we must have the additional study apart from the regular syllabus. So please remember like that. So today we'll just have additionally discussion on this particular part. Actually today's content that we have already discussed, that we want to discuss regarding the solid blocks, concrete blocks, and hollow concrete blocks. What are their various uses and advantages that we have seen, right? So today we'll see again some additional part. So what is a stretcher? A stretcher block is a most commonly block in the construction. It is laid its length parallel to the face of the wall, right? So that we have seen, this is the terminology which is associated with the this box. Corner, a corner block is used for corners at a simple window or a door opening. Okay, so here you can see double corner or a pier is there. A double corner or a pier block is used constructing the piers in pilasters or any for any other purpose where both ends of the block would be visible. Then bull nose, you can see this rounded nose are provided here. A bull nose block serves the same purpose as the corner block, but it is used where the round corners are desired. Jambs, you can find these particular slots here, right? A wood sash jamb block is used where the stretcher and corner block around elaborate window openings, especially for the frames and etc. It is necessary. The recess in the block allows room for the various casing members as a double hung window etc. Right. Now examples of the masonry units, the veneer masonry are also there. Now this is sometimes now used masonry veneer walls, where the veneer or you can say a thin film is used there in that. So a masonry veneer wall consists of a masonry unit, usually clay based bricks installed on one or both sides of the structurally independent wall, usually constructed of wood or masonry. In this context, the brick masonry is primarily decorative, non-structural. The brick veneer is generally connected to the structural wall by brick ties, uh, especially metal strips that are attached to the structural wall, as well as the mortar joints of the brick veneer. These are typically an air gap between the brick veneer and the structural wall. A clay based brick is usually not completely waterproof. The structural wall will often have a water resistant surface. Usually tar paper is used, and weep holes can be left at the base of the brick veneer to drain the moisture that accumulates inside the air gap. Concrete blocks, real and cultured stones, veneer adobes are sometimes used in a very similar veneer fashion. So you can see here in this particular block, you can observe here in the first figure, right, where you can say a 4-inch horizontal joint reinforcing the wires are installed. Okay, so you can see ladder type joint reinforcement is there. You can observe the reinforcing this particular between the members, right? And also you can see in the next figure here, in this stand wall system, veneer ties are screwed into the stud, right, and we can also find the veneer here also. So such modifications are there nowadays in the construction. Now dry set masonry, that you know also the strength of the masonry wall is not entirely dependent on the bond between the building material and the mortar. The friction between the interlocking the blocks of masonry is often strong enough to provide a great deal of strength on its own. The blocks sometimes have grooves or other surfaces features are added to the enhance the interlocking, and some dry set masonry structures forgo mortar altogether. So you can say such appliances can be used, right. Solid masonry and this brickwork that we are aware, just I will revise. A solid masonry without reinforcement tends to have the limited application in the modern wall construction. While such walls can be economical, suitable to some applications, susceptibility to earthquakes and collapse in major issues, the solid unreinforced masonry walls tend to be low and thick as a consequence, right. Then bricks, regarding the solid brickwork, it is made of two or more layers of the bricks with units running horizontally, called stretcher bricks, bound together with the brick running transverse to the wall, called as a header bricks, that we have seen, just revising that. And also each row of the bricks is known as a course. The pattern of headers and stretchers employed gives rise to different bonds such as common bond, English bond, Flemish bond, etc. The bonds can differ in strength and insulating the ability. So vertical staggered bonds tends to somewhat stronger and less prone to the major cracking than the non-staggered bonds. So it is called the breaking of the joints that we have seen, right. Now brakes are used for building and pavement, especially we are discussing regarding the solid blocks today. The brick pavement was found incapable of withstanding the heavy traffic, but it is coming back into use as a method of traffic calming as a decorative surface, especially in the western countries. Then also there are many early cases as well where these blocks are used for the pedestrians, right. Okay, now these are also the bricks which are we are using. Now the stones you can see here. Now these typical stone patterns, or you can say uh, especially the elevation can be improved, okay. So by providing the various passions here, so this type of masonry is generally used for the elevation, or you can say providing the aesthetic to the building. Now again some modern concrete products we will discuss. Now you can see, as I discussed earlier, some fly ash concrete blocks are also nowadays in the application. Now fly ash is an inexpensive replacement for the Portland cement used in the concrete. While it actually improves the strength and segregation and ease of pumping of the concrete, fly ash is used as an ingredient in the brick, block paving and structural fields. Fly ash is a fine glass-like powder recovered from gases created by the coal-fired electrical power generation. So instead of the some part is replaced of cement by the fly ash. Okay, now there fly ash can be classified in the F type and C type, where the particles in the case of F type particles covered in a kind of melted glass greatly reduce the risk of expansion due to the sulfate attack and may occur in fertilized soils near a coastal area. And in the sea fly ash, C type, it is also resistant to expansion from the chemical attack, has a higher percentage of calcium oxide and more commonly used in the structural concrete. Right. So, this much information I would like to convey to you, to additional, but as a context, or you can say the content point of view, today you can remember regarding the solid block masonry, then hollow block masonry also, and also we are also in detail we are going to study regarding the fly ash blocks as well, right? So that's all from today's session. Thank you very much for joining the today's session.